TV party tonight!
Oh, we got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
Don't want to talk about anything else.
We don't want to know.
We're dedicated
To our favorite shows.
Oh, my circuit!
Everybody loves Hypnotoad.
Scary dog!
Vincent at Blurnsville.
Futurama!
Good evening. You are listening to a Radulich Broadcasting premiere podcast TV Party Tonight. I'm your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And tonight, our favorite show is Titans Season 3, brought to you by the good people at HBO Max. And I'm sure any number of Greg Berlanti's production companies and so on and so forth. DC Comics, I'm sure, is in there. Unfortunately, I have up the Titan Season 3 wiki, and it doesn't tell me any of that. So there.
You failed us once again, Wikipedia.
Continuing our coverage of the Titan series, we have already reviewed seasons 1 and 2. Jesse Starcher is back. How you doing, Jesse?
Very good, sir. Very good, sir. I'm glad to come back here and talk about a season of Titans that I think I can remember right now. Prior to this episode, prior to this show, I had the hardest time actually remembering season 2 of Titans. Like, it completely, I didn't think I participated in the podcast. I didn't even think that happened until you sent me the link and I saw my name in the description. I was like, no, I mean, COVID completely wiped it from my brain. It's
so
just
funny.
gone.
You were sending me messages like, did we review this? And I'm just like, fuck yes, dude.
I could not.
I promise you were there. The only one that I think because we've done a lot of the Marvel and pre-Disney Plus Marvel. Since then, you've not done as many, but pre-Marvel, when it was Marvel TV, right, and not everything was part of Marvel Studios. Just some stuff was on TV and some stuff was movies. So the era of, and I don't remember the guy's name anymore, but the era that this stuff was on Freeform and ABC and Hulu. We did all that. The one that, and I thought we did Cloak and Dagger season 1, but apparently we didn't. I just watched that one, but we definitely did season 2.
Mm-hmm.
We did all 3 seasons of Runaway. And then when DC Universe and now HBO Max started doing all these DC shows, I think we'd done them all. I think we did. I know we did Swamp Thing, and I'm pretty sure that was me and you.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that episode. I remember recording that and watching it. So
we definitely did Doom Patrol, and that we'll be doing in the upcoming weeks when that wraps up. And we did the aforementioned first 2 seasons of Titans. I think the only one, of the DC Universe shows, the only one you didn't do was the Harley Quinn animated show, and that was me and David.
Yep. I wasn't in on that one.
Right.
Yeah. I had to go back and listen to our season 2 coverage today prior to going into recording tonight, just so I could kind of get an idea. I mean, watching this season, I was able to pick up some of the big things that for some reason I just completely left my mind. But anyway, yeah, we were just on the cusp of Disney Plus launching. We were talking about that in the episode because I think that episode aired in September. I could be wrong, but anyway, it was 2020. But anyway, yeah. So hey, it was like I was thrown into season 3. I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't remember everything that had happened in the previous season. But that's okay. I was able to pick up, see what Jason Todd, that son of a bitch, was doing.
Let me ask you a question. Has there been have there been more adaptations of any more stories than the following 5? Okay.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight Returns, done to death, yes or no? Yes or no, Jesse?
It's been there. I mean, we've seen that a couple times, for sure.
Death in the Family, which is in part what this season was inspired by.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely the first time I had seen it in live action. I'm pretty certain there's an animated, and I could be completely wrong, but I know that. What's that?
There is.
Okay,
but I feel like Death in the Family is what they use part of Death in the Family in the Under the Red Hood animated movie, and then for whatever reason they remade it like they remade Under the Red Hood, but narrated by Batman, and called it the Death in the Family animated film, which I had heard was like interactive. I don't know how you interact with this thing. I don't know if you're supposed to lay on it, if you're supposed to eat it. I don't know what you're supposed to do with this movie, but I watched it.
Do you call in to a number and decide if Jason Todd lives or dies?
I feel like we established that already.
Yeah.
Anyway, so The Dark Knight Returns, Death in the Family, The Killing Joke.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I know that's, I mean, probably the most popular Batman story. Yeah. And yeah, we get that a lot in this season here.
What do you call it? The Long Halloween.
Right. And again, that's one, it's one of the best Batman stories that's out there, and it's been in animated form.
No Man's Land.
No Man's Land is one that you said, I think Gotham touched on, which I didn't watch. So
the whole season dedicated to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I said that The Killing Joke was all over this season. It's not the case. Barbara Gordon's in a wheelchair. That's about all there is.
Yeah. She talks about the Joker shooting her.
Okay. All right. So I mean, listen, those 5 that you just rattled off, those are some of the best Batman stories that are out there. So I can't see why you would want to stay away from the material, but redoing it over and over and over again gets
the same reason I don't want to talk about Marvel movies anymore. Like I'm just done. Okay. Is there nothing else to talk about? Has Batman not done anything else but these 5 stories?
Right.
I think that's look. Let me say right off the bat, I think this is the best season of Titans yet. The show's still not great. It is very soapy. It's very Greg Berlanti. Outside of the salty language, this could have absolutely been on the CW right between Supergirl and The Flash and Arrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, this is, I mean, I enjoyed myself with what we got here. I can't say it's better than season 2 because I can't remember season 2. But season 1, okay. One of our biggest criticisms of season 2 was the fact that we wanted it a little bit more than what we got. And in this one, it felt a little bit different. It felt more like we got a lot more space for a smaller amount of story that could have got wrapped up. But I mean, when you look at all the stuff that happened in this season, it's amazing that they decided to put that into 13 episodes, let alone A Death in the Family happens in 15 minutes I mean, practically the first 20 minutes of the first episode.
I was gonna say, it's like we open and immediately Jason Todd is being beat to death with a crowbar.
It's
like,
pretty
well,
all right then. A Death in the Family, it was one of the first Batman trade paperbacks that I ever picked up. I can remember the front cover, and I'm sure there's different covers to different trade paperbacks, but this one it was just completely black, said a Death in the Family up at the top, and Batman's just holding a beaten, bloody Jason Todd. I didn't know who Jason Todd was. I just knew it was Robin.
Do you remember the artwork for that, where the way they drew his face, having him beaten by the Joker, looked like it was melting off?
Right. Yeah, it was frightening. And for a kid, when I picked this up, I was probably 11 or 12 years old, maybe a little bit older than
My
that,
cousin Sebastian had to explain to me the whole Jason Todd thing because I always knew Robin as Dick Grayson. Now it's 2021 and there have been 172 Robins.
Yeah. You can lose and count.
There have been girl Robins, boy Robins, giraffe Robins. There have been robot Robins. The only thing there's been more of
Robins.
There's been Rockin' Robins. There's been Bar and Girls Named Robin. It's all the Robins. There's
Baskin Robbins.
The only thing that's when Batman was fat. The only thing there's been more of is Superman's. So anyway, there's only been 2 other Batmans though. Isn't that funny? Like there was Azrael, and then for a while Dick Grayson.
All right, yeah.
But it's always been Batman. I think right now isn't there like talk of replacing Batman in the comics with somebody else?
I can't tell you yes or no on that. I know that I just saw something about Superman dying again. I saw that pop up today. Yeah.
It worked well the first time.
And only 30 years later, they've forgotten already. Yeah, man. I don't know. There's always talk of trying to replace some legacy character with somebody else and seeing how well they do. I remember Azrael as as Bats, and it was a neat time to see another person pick up the cowl. But yeah, man, characters are characters.
I have in paperback like the giant 3-volume Nightfall omnibus.
Oh my gosh, that thing is fucking huge, dude.
Yeah,
I know
it took me forever
size.
to finish reading that. But it's good. Like I really enjoy, like especially the Azrael part of it. Everyone knows the initial breaking of the bat, but that's kind of like Death in the Family in Titans season 3. It's like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah,
like that all happens right at the beginning, and the whole rest of volume 1 is Azrael. Azrael's rise and fall as Batman. Then cool. Volume 2, I think, is Dick Grayson as Batman, and I think volume 3, Batman comes back, but it's a slow go. Anyway, point being, that was one of those things I was thinking about with Titan season 3 is like I get you can't do Red Hood without doing at least part of Death in the Family.
Okay,
which the only thing anyone never remembers about Death in the Family, by the way, is that Robin gets the shit beat out of him and dies. And he actually gets beaten with a crowbar, then blowed up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, and that's it. Jason Todd's just dead for a while. Like the Red Hood character doesn't appear until years later, from what I understand.
Yeah, it's a good while. I think I remember first seeing him. DC is kind of like not my strongest point, but I remember him showing up there probably in I want to say it was the 2010s, maybe a little bit earlier than that.
So, if you're sitting down the table and you're like, what characters can we bring into Titans to beef it up and make it interesting? We did Deathstroke, and they didn't really do. I don't think they did the Judas contract as part of season 2.
We're talking about Rose as being part of it.
I know, like Jericho's in it at the end, right?
Jericho's in there, and I mean, I listened to our episode, and I'm again the stuff that was coming out of my mouth. I was like, I do not remember any of this. I couldn't believe I forgot Deathstroke even.
Right. So season 2 is the introduction of Superboy. Their feud with Deathstroke, the resolving of Raven's plot line from season 1, which got cut short, with her and Trigon, and then they introduced. They continued Starfire's story, and they started to introduce her sister, which then got followed up in season 3. So you're sitting around the table, they got to continue the Starfire story, which I thought was going to be the bulk of season 3. It's part of it. It's a major thread, but it's not the thing they focused on. The thing they focused on was in some ways a continuation of the little bit that Jason Todd got to do in season 2. And then they're like, okay, so what do we want to accomplish in this one? We're going to bring in Barbara Gordon. We're going to bring in Jace, we're going to bring in the Red Hood, and and then I guess for giggles, because like, let's see how much worse we can do No Man's Land than Gotham did. Let's throw that in there at the end. So, so just kind of getting into it now, getting into season 3, I liked the fact that because it's the Titans, I was trying to find research on this. If I was trying to find a book before we decided that you and Sean were going to do. What was the book you guys did? The something
Imperative.
Technics Imperative. Yeah. Before we just opted to go with that and stop trying to find like direct synergy, I was trying to find any kind of Red Hood Titans connection, and I maybe other than like individual issues as part of a large volume, there might have been some, but there was no like trade paperback that's this is Red Hood versus the Teen Titans.
Right.
I couldn't find anything like that out there.
Yeah. I can tell you that Jason Teasley and myself did I think it was him and I did a comparison of Death in the Family, Death of.
Right.
And I can remember the way that those stories went. Red Hood was involved because he was part of.
Yeah, it was like a massive crossover of all the Bat titles.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them.
And that's the one where Joker cuts off everyone's face.
Yep. Yeah. Were you part of that?
No, but I read the book.
Okay, all right. And I remember how disturbing that was. And it was
gross.
It was pretty gross. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head either. I'm sure there probably is something out there because he was quite. I mean, it was Jason Todd, and he's back. And he's as messed up as he is in this series. He's that much more messed up, sort of in the comics as well. After what's happened to him. So it wouldn't surprise me if there is definitely something out there.
So the last thing I'll say about this, Titan season 3 kind of reminds me of the latter seasons of Gotham. Gotham had a strong premise. I have complained about this ad nauseum. Someday I should actually just talk about Gotham in a podcast because I've now brought this up so many times. But Gotham's biggest thing was they introduced a premise. What if we just did a gritty cop show starring Jim Gordon pre-Batman? And everyone was like, "Where's Batman?" Like, I don't want this. I want Batman. Wah.
Yeah.
And so they were like, "Well, we can't. That defeats the whole premise of the show. But what if we gave you everybody else? You know, every single seminal Batman story, all the villains.
Here's the Penguin,
right?
Here, yeah.
Here's 97 versions of the Joker. Here's just all this nonsense." So anyway, my point being, like, you know, and so by the end of it, they were doing No Man's Land there too, and you know, it just became like, we want to get people. I think people, like I said, like rejected the show. I don't know why it went on for as many years as it did, but they had to change up the formula to get more interest. And they figured if they threw more recognizable characters in there and more adaptations of recognizable stories, people would start to watch Gotham more. Titans falls into that same thing because they didn't really do that with the first 2 seasons. They introduced some characters that were well known, but it didn't feel like, what's the most popular thing we can think of? Throw that in there.
Right.
And that's very much this season.
Yeah. I mean, my goodness, there are so many references to things that, like, the Lazarus Pit shows up.
Yeah.
You know, we're on Tim Drake is in this thing. We've got all the Robins. We've got, just like you said, No Man's Land. There's even like Easter eggs in the beginning. The first episode after Jason Todd is dead, you know, you're going through all these Robins that are on the screen that when Dick finds that Batman's trying to find a replacement just like that. I mean, it's like, he's like, oh, Jason's dead. Man, I need to get another Robin in here.
By the way, what a douchebag Batman is in this series.
Man.
Holy
okay.
cow.
So I think, like, first episode, if we're going to talk Batman, I mean, the first episode, I have told other people that it really goes into a completely different lane compared to what the comics are. What is the one criticism that a lot of people have always lobbed at Batman when it comes to the Joker?
He didn't kill him.
So in that first episode, by the end of near the end of the episode, it's you know, Batman comes back and throws the crowbar onto the ground and says he's caved in Joker's skull with it. And I was like, holy crap, that is definitely a different take. That is not what I was expecting, which I think that's
also not Batman.
Okay, there's an argument for that. Yes, I will agree with you there. But it's also typical of fuck Batman. All right. Yeah. It's also typical of Titans throwing everything out there and just getting rid of whatever you're expecting.
They sacrificed the Batman character to elevate the stars of the show, which are the Titans.
Yeah,
which I don't agree with.
Okay, all right. I'll give you that.
I disagree.
You disagree, sir? It is not fine, he says. The Batman has to go through some stuff too. And I mean, granted, it's not his show. But we do get to see him go through some of the. I mean, he pretty much lost a son in Jason Todd. As shitty as a person as he was, he loses a son.
I was saying, in a way, he lost a son in Dick. Dick rejected him for all those years.
Yeah, it's tough for him to go through that. And of course, another thing that is even brought up in this is about how much of a sick person Bruce Wayne is. I think is it Barbara that says that Bruce and the Joker were the ones poisoning the city all along. This was early in the season,
and that has been one of the big arguments of the whole Batman. I mean, wasn't that the central premise of the Long Halloween, which was basically, Batman thought he was doing. I know we've talked about this ad nauseum. Like this might as well, like, just our conversations on Batman alone, because we've done so many shows about it, you could just do a drinking game of how many times I bring these things up. But he there was the discussion about how once he eliminated the mob, he made room for all the crazies. And Gotham is infinitely worse with a rotating cast of crazies running about that keep escaping out of Arkham's Swiss cheese walls,
right,
than it was under the mob.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. He is a very messed up individual. I mean, mentally, he's just not there to realize actually some of the harm that he is doing versus all the good he believes he's doing. So, and that's what I kind of like about this season is they address that. I mean, you have to watch Bruce. You don't get like more than probably, I don't know, if you totaled up the whole sum of all the scenes, you're probably looking at maybe 20 minutes to half an hour. Yeah. Okay. An hour. Yeah. I mean, and I can't remember what episode it is, but he's basically trying to resolve what he's done by killing himself. He's going to set fire to his own abode in England and burn to death in it.
Right.
Which is, I mean, hey, I applaud Titans for doing something like that. It's not Batman, but it's not the Batman we're used to. This is the Batman in the Titans universe.
All right. So episode 1, let's just kind of break this down one by one here. After learning the Joker killed Jason, Dick returns to Gotham City. He discovers Jason had been working with chemistry equipment, which was used to create an unidentified drug. Reuniting with Bruce and Police Commissioner Barbara Gordon, Dick begins to question Bruce's mental state over losing Jason. His suspicions are confirmed when he finds out the Joker was murdered by Bruce, who departs after tasking Dick with protecting Gotham. The news of Jason's death also reaches Tim Drake, a young Gotham resident who idolizes Batman. Meanwhile, the Titans team of Corey, Gar, and Connor continue to fight crime in San Francisco. Corey begins to experience hallucinations that result in her blacking out. So this is what I was alluding to. They were like, okay, so yes, the Titans are known for fighting in San Francisco, but what do the people know? The people know Gotham. And that's where Batman is. And that's where Jason Todd is. So that's where we're going to set season 3. So let's just talk about that for a minute. What did you think of trying to shoehorn the Titans, who have always had their own identity separate from their mentors? And in the book, like I said, the Titans did their own thing. They, sometimes they interacted with their mentors and elders, but most of the time they didn't. They were off having their own adventures. And here it kind of feels like a proxy for Batman. Like we're not doing a Batman show, we're doing a Titan show, but we want to set the show in a place that's familiar for the audience because the audience has no patience for anything new or different. So the Titans become the Batman super team. Right. Which is that was my interpretation of it.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't bother me. I'm okay with them being in Gotham. That's for sure. I like the fact of there's that feel of the kind of fish out of water. They know they're in Gotham. They know Gotham is, it's rough. It's a rough neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's
how Gotham hasn't been condemned. Zip code retired, just sunk into the harbor.
Right. So it was kind of nice to see them go up against the challenges of being in a new spot, possibly dealing with, I mean, who could possibly show up and give them a hard time? There's a whole rogues gallery out there that can. Which one's it going to be? So it's nice to see. I don't mind that being the setting there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't get hung up on it. It was a lot. So the problem is, like, for me, a lot of this was kind of an eye roll, but I knew we were going to talk about it. So it's not like I can be like, this is too dumb for me. I'm going to stop watching it. I'm going to go watch something else. I have more episodes of that show on Peacock, the Dan Brown show, Symbol. I have more episodes of Symbol I could be watching. I could be watching The Flight Attendant. I haven't seen that yet. Hey, there's new episodes of The Morning Show out. I could be watching that. Nope. I'm committed to this.
You have to be committed, sir.
I'm committed. Oh boy, do I need to be committed. So as stupid as I thought something might have been, I just kind of got past it because it is what it is, and we're going to talk about it. So
yeah.
Did I love that they shoehorned the Titans into Gotham, into Batman's area? I mean, the one saving grace about it is if you're going to do Red Hood as one of the major antagonists of season 3, I don't know how else you do it but to do it in Gotham. And that might be the counter argument from anyone who worked on this. Like, well, what you wanted to do? Have, we kill him in Gotham and he just goes off to San Francisco for no apparent reason?
Right.
Like, I get it.
I mean, there's also the plot that when Bruce leaves, I think he explains to Dick, he's like, just, you are in charge now.
Right.
I'm leaving, take care of Gotham for me and also be a better Batman.
Right.
And
which
man,
is what Barbara tells him.
Is that okay? All right. So there's a whole plot line of him trying to the internal struggle of him trying to live up to Batman and what he means to Gotham, and also obviously the internal struggle amongst his team. That one of the team members is now who was once dead is now alive and is a bad guy.
That is one of the things I did like about the show. Like the show is a good 5 or 6 for me out of 10. And so there's definitely some things that I didn't love, but there are some things I thought were great. And I actually do like Dick's story in this. Dick's internal conflict of him feeling responsibility to take on the mantle of Batman. And getting to the point where, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, where he nearly kills Jason and he gets his just desserts for it. And he realizes that, all this time he has not been the best. He has not been the best version of himself, let alone the best version of Batman. Yeah, and it's a arc that he has to go on. It's a journey he has to go on. So I like that. I also, and we can talk about this and then we can move on to episode 2. We meet Barbara Gordon, who is wheelchair bound after being shot by the Joker, a la The Killing Joke. And she's the commissioner of the Gotham PD. Her father has retired, died, gone to Mars, been, living with Bucci. I don't know
Mars.
Wow. I don't know what happened.
Well, you understand that the police, I believe Gotham police have like an $8 billion budget or something like that. Something absolutely crazy insane. There is a number that is spouted there, but hey, that's a retirement plan, I guess. You're going to Mars.
Going to Mars, dude. Anyway, I don't remember if they said it in the show what happened to him, if he's passed away or if he retired and went to Florida. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think I caught it.
Drowned in the Lazarus pit. One never knows. Anyway, so where there was once Batman and Jim Gordon, there is now Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon. And Dick Grayson has banged his way around the DC universe. he has got Hollywood good looks, man. The guy that plays Dick Grayson is a hot fella.
Yes.
So the fact that they have him, he's banged Barbara Gordon, Deanna Troy, it's just everybody, Dove, everyone he's come across, he's laid that pipe. And you know what? I don't take that away from him. I don't doubt it.
Yeah. His chemistry with Barbara, obviously you could tell there's a history there when they are first meeting. And as the season goes, you get to learn more about their relationship. But yeah, you when you first see him in this first episode, it's professional supposedly, but yeah, there's some chemistry
in a relationship, and then they talk about it later on. They were in a relationship, and they were actually for a brief period of this season they're in one. What did you think of the girl that played her?
She did fine. She seemed like she's. I don't know what I expected of Barbara Gordon. I mean, I can't say that I've read too many, a whole lot of stories with her to where I'm like, oh, okay. I
you don't read Batgirl, Jesse? What do you hate women, Jesse? Girls can't be in comics, Jesse?
Don't cancel me yet.
Yet.
I haven't, so I didn't really have a whole lot of expectations. She seemed to fit the part. She certainly didn't take me out when I was watching her. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I could ask for.
Yeah, I thought let me use proper nouns here. The gal that plays
pal.
You hear it first. Where is she? Well, Savannah Welch. Okay. So Savannah Welch, she's been in a lot of television.
All right.
A lot of television. She was in a couple episodes of the show 6. It was a military drama.
Do not know that one.
She was in an experimental romantic drama called Song to Song. I'm starting to see why we've never heard of this gal.
What is an experimental romantic drama?
I don't know. Want to do a show on it? She was in Boyhood. Did you hear about the movie Boyhood?
Shaking my head, no.
The experimental movie where
we got more experiments coming up. All right.
It was filmed between 2001 and 2013 because they wanted to depict the real aging of this child.
Oh,
yeah.
All of a sudden, okay, that's ringing a bell there. Okay.
She's in The Tree of Life that was directed by Terrence Malick.
Okay.
And then she's had some Here's something you may have seen her in: Ninja James and the Beast Boy.
Come on. Now you're just making up stuff.
I swear to Rudy,
Is that a music video? Is that like a Rings of Saturn music video?
All I can tell you is there's no hyperlink.
Not important enough.
She was in something called The Transcendence, and she won an award for that. She got from the North Hollywood Cinefest 2019 award for Best Actress in a Feature Film for The Transcendence, and she won. So there you go.
All right. Well, a rather accomplished actress. Like I said, she did a fine job as Barbara Gordon. I mean, I wasn't expecting a whole lot, so she definitely checked the box.
Yeah, she was good. All right. Episode 2. Red Hood. To help Dick protect Gotham, Corey, Gar, Connor, and Dawn arrive at the team's new base in Wayne Manor. Hank also joins, who's a bicycle cop now. Despite tensions between him and Dawn. In Bruce's absence, a mysterious figure extorts Gotham's mob bosses into becoming their enforcer. When the figure has individuals wearing red hoods perform criminal acts, Barbara informs Dick the incarcerated Jonathan Crane, who is Scarecrow, has been serving as a police consultant. Through Crane's help, the Titans are able to track down the figure to an abandoned munitions building. Dick engages in a fight with the figure, who is revealed to be the still alive Jason. Jason identifies himself as Red Hood before escaping. So the actor who plays Jason cracks me up because he's got the boyiest features you've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
I am not convinced that's an adult.
He is still 13.
Curran Walters is 23. He looks 12.
Yeah, he's definitely looking young for his age.
Yeah.
Man, I'm okay. So as far as like top actors go for the Titans, all right. This guy, what was his name again? Curran
Walters.
Curran. I have never hated a character more. I mean, there's been a few, but let's just put it this way. He plays such a good douchebag teenage kid.
Yeah.
That I just was like, I want Dick to just punch him in his face repeatedly.
I'm trying to not get us demonetized on YouTube, but I can't help myself. He has such blowjob face.
Okay. I don't.
He has the face of a guy who should give a blowjob and then get punched in said face.
Oh, wow.
Does he not? Does he not?
Well, I'm not. Listen, I've never heard that term before. I have no idea where you've come up with it, but all right, fine. If you feel that way.
He definitely has punchy face though.
Yes. Okay.
As Christian would say, he has slappable face.
Yes. Yeah. And he's got an attitude to boot. I mean, he's got the worst, like, angsty emo attitude.
I feel like he's almost like the wrong fit for this kind of show. This is supposed to be like gritty, soapy crime drama. These actors. I mean, I should be careful about this because like Greg Berlanti, his shows, all those CW shows walk the line of very, very pretty actors, but are able to handle some degree of like adult melodrama. Like, they're pretty, but you can see them in the roles that they are. Like that whole cast of Riverview. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. They all are gorgeous people, but they don't seem out of place in a meant for adult primetime soapy melodrama.
You talking about Riverdale?
Riverdale, yes.
Okay, all right, yeah. I knew Riverview, Swanee River, whatever. Yes. I know exactly what you're saying.
But and then there are some people whose faces are so kiddie, are so young, like they shouldn't do anything above the level of Disney.
Yeah,
like they need to be on a Disney drama, not this. Like they need to be a level below this. He has that kind of face to where, like, everyone's pretty, but they're not as fresh faced as he is. He's so fresh faced. That's what I mean.
Right.
Like it's just, like he doesn't match. Like you look at him and he has these pouty lips. And you're like, what's with the pouty blowjob lips on this poor child? This 23-year-old child.
I think they specifically, made those decisions based off of what you're saying. Like this guy, he looks like a young, go and get him kid, and
get him kid,
get him. But he has a mouth like a sailor. It's just horrible. And I want to give him probably, as far as actors go on the show, he
Mhm.
probably ranks as top up there for me because I hated him so much, and that's exactly what he was supposed to do.
Yeah,
He
no,
pulled it off.
Mission accomplished. He does angsty really well. He's kind of like, here's your wrestling reference for the night. Here, so mark your bingo cards, everybody. Hang on.
Right here. I
Hang
got it
on.
right here.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
That's disturbing.
Hi, I'm Mark. Have we met?
Mhm.
So anyway, why did I do the bingo thing? Oh, because I was gonna make a wrestling reference. That's why. I've been anyway.
Okay.
So he's kind of like when Shawn Michaels turned heel, where he's such an asshole. He's such an angsty, douchey asshole. You can't help but hate him. You want to see everybody in the locker room. You want to see everybody on the Titan squad beat the living hell out of him. And that's what I was getting at. The whole point of me bringing all of that up is when he's revealed to be the Red Hood, it's like, oh, aren't you adorable? It's like a little kid cosplaying, like that's his Halloween costume. Like, oh, look, he's Halloween cosplaying his deck broke. You're adorable. And it doesn't help, again, Curran Walters looks like a 12-year-old. Like, and here's the thing, like the guy playing Dick Grayson has a body on him. Like when he's shirtless, he is just all abs and pec muscles. And the guy playing Connor, Superboy, he's built. He's a little doughy in the face, but he has got like Barbie waist on him. He's built. Yeah, that guy works out. And so everyone kind of fills out their costumes. Like even the guy that plays Hawk, he's a big dude. They all fill out their costumes. They all look kind of muscly and built and everything. And you can believe in this stupid world that they're all living in, they could be superheroes to one degree or another. I can't with Curran Walters. Mm-hmm. I just can't. When and he's the Red Hood, and it's like, yeah, on Halloween. Like I didn't expect him to have a gun. I expected him to have a trick-or-treat basket.
There's going to be there's possibly going to be a runner up there if Tim Drake ever dons the Robin costume.
Oh my God! The hit they got for Tim Drake. Oh,
I was just like, all right, well, he seems very, oh my goodness, earnest, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Sure. Like he's this real smart kid, but I mean, unless he's packing like, a 12-pack under there that I just didn't understand was even possible. This kid looks like he is just got out of chess club.
In defense of that, Tim Drake wasn't exactly a large figure either.
No. I mean, he's a small kid. As a matter of fact, I mean, if you could probably see the guy playing Jason Todd as a Tim Drake almost.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. But not really nothing else about episode 2. I did. I love the gal. The gal that plays Dove is so pretty, and I actually think she's a pretty good actress, and she has really good chemistry with the guys who plays Hawk. So they don't make much hay out of it this season. They're gonna resolve it just as soon as they start it. But like they're
resolved, all right.
Yeah, with a bullet. I'm voting with a bullet. Anyway, I like,
ladies and gentlemen.
I like their chemistry together. I like the sexual tension between them. And let me talk about this real quick. I feel like they amped up the cursing in this season because they're on HBO Max, and who cares?
Okay. All right.
Like this very much felt like, well, we're off DC Universe, and DC Universe people curse too, but they kept it to a minimum. Here, there's a scene later on in the season where Jason Todd's like shooting guns in the air and going, "It's Red Hood, motherfucker!" And I'm like, what's happening here? It was a little jarring for me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Back to Hawk and Dove. I think those two were probably my favorite parts of season 1. And I don't remember anything of season 2, so I can't really say, but here in season 3, I liked seeing them back together, if not just for a little bit. They for some reason I always enjoyed whenever they were on the screen. And it's that tension that they have with Hawk just trying to get over his love for Dove and the differences that they have, and it's just not going to happen.
He has a great line, and I think the next episode or two, where she's like, it might have even been this one. Yeah, I think it was this one where she's like, "Why did you even come back? I thought you said you didn't want to do this anymore." He's like, "I tried. I took the suit off, and I wasn't with you, and it sucked."
Yeah.
That's a very like guy thing to say. It was like,
Yeah.
I tried to move on without you. I tried to live a different life because I promised I would, and I think it was better for me. Except that it wasn't. It sucked, and I want everything that I lost back.
Yeah. Those two were all. I hated to see how this gets resolved, and basically how they are no longer together. But yeah, seeing them back together in the second episode, it put a smile on my face.
Episode 3, Hank and Dove. Hank is lured into a trap by Jason because he's a dumbass.
He is a dumbass. Gosh, what an idiot.
Who implants
there's idiots amongst this whole series, and we're going to point them out.
Yeah.
That's idiot for maybe 3.
That is not a strength of the writing, is that basically they count on the characters to be morons or there'd be no plot.
Yeah, right.
Hank is lured into a trap by Jason, who implants an explosive device in his chest. As Hank's heartbeats bring the device closer to detonating, Jason offers to deactivate it if the Titans steal gold bars being delivered to a bank. Dick refusing. Jason's demand discovers that the device was created by Bruce. Using the device's schematics, Dick gives Connor the task of creating a deactivator. However, Dawn, having rekindled her relationship with Hank, steals the gold bars. Dawn and Jason meet at the secluded location where Jason coerces her into saving Hank by shooting him with a gun he provides. Dawn pulls the trigger, but the gun instead detonates the device as Connor arrives too late to use his deactivator. Her reaction to realizing what she had done was fantastic. That was a hell of a bit of dramatic acting. I like the fact that there are stakes in this show. And at least I say that with the caveat that just because you're dead doesn't mean you won't be in a future episode, but at least some of them stay dead. Right. Hank, there's going to be like, I guess, where their adventures in limbo, and and Hank makes a reappearance, but he sacrifices himself there too, and he stays in limbo and he doesn't come back to life like Tim Drake and Troy do.
There's no possible way that can happen. I'm just like, he gets vaporized in this episode,
right?
And that whole episode of them going to the tunnel or the bridge. I'm just like, what the hell is he going to come back to?
Maybe it'll be like Wonder Woman 84. He'll just inhabit somebody else's body. And
yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. I was like, well, all right, whatever. But yeah, this episode did have some real peril involved with my character. The one guy that I really enjoyed watching he was kind of like the comedic relief a lot of times. I mean, you don't get a whole lot of that in this series, really. No. I mean, other than when you see Hank on the screen. Drama. Yeah. And that's why I really liked him. And I was like, but then of course I was like, is he going to make it out? And I just knew he wasn't going to do it, and he doesn't. And have Dove be the one that pulls the trigger that causes that explosion that kills him. I mean, there are some really like cool visuals, especially Superboy standing in front of the bed as it like explodes when he has that deactivator in his hand.
Hair gets tussled.
Yeah, it cannot. Yeah, and nothing happens.
Can we talk about how the clothing in this universe doesn't react to any elements?
Right.
Like I can see, like Superboy is invulnerable. I'm fine with like he gets a light tussle and maybe some black marks on his face, like in a cartoon exploding bomb. Why didn't his clothing catch fire?
And he's just perfectly fine.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff where it's a comic book show, but obviously you have to kind of suspend your disbelief. A lot of it, with Jason doing what he was doing, I did not understand why.
Well, the whole thing is a setup, isn't it? We're going to learn later on that all of these things are the machinations of Scarecrow to get Gotham to turn on the Titans so that it's left vulnerable to do whatever it is he's going to do.
Do you think there is a drug out there in the world? Now there's some drugs. I mean, drugs.
A drug that takes away fear. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Have you not heard of beer muscles?
Okay. I have never actually. I don't know. That's kind of scary.
There's synthetic marijuana can induce a psychotic episode, and when people are psychotic, they are definitely not worried about they definitely are not dealing with any kind of anxiety. They are fearless.
Okay.
That's why a lot of them come into jail and they're messed up on spice. That's what it's called. By the way, I kept wanting to make that joke during the Dune reviews because synthetic marijuana, at least in my locale, the colloquialism is spice or tucci. Spice. And so, James like, the spice must flow. And I'm like, it certainly does in Tampa.
Yeah.
Right into the Hillsborough County Jail.
I just didn't have I could not understand why Jason was doing all these things to his teammates. And I understand it's all strings pulled by.
So you said like a dozen times you don't remember season 2. That I didn't remember either, because they're like, Jason left the Titans. I remember that much. I remember he had a falling out with Dick. I don't remember why or why that would then cause him. Well, okay, let's back this up a sec. He left the Titans, and they go, and through flashback over the course of the season, they do talk about how Jason wanted to prove his mettle, like whatever the falling out with Dick was. And I guess we would know a little bit more if we had remembered or rewatched it. But whatever his falling out with Dick was, it somewhat revolved around Dick not believing in Jason or feeling like Jason was ready enough. I think Jason was too violent was the issue.
Okay.
Like Jason was whooping ass, and Dick was like, that's not how we do.
Breaking cops' backs, if I remember right. I mean, it was pretty rough.
Yeah, and Dick was like, you're not a good Robin. You shouldn't be out there going beyond the pale, hurting people. And and Jason was like, I don't need this shit, and he went back to Gotham. And so I think this was the other relationship thing that they deal with is the relationship between Jason and Dick, which, by the way, I don't think was a thing in the comics. What they're doing with Jason and Dick was more Dick and Damian. Where Damian felt threatened by the presence of Dick because Dick was the favorite son of Batman, but Damian was his blood son. And Damian wanting to be the rightful heir to the Batman throne. They deal with an injustice, if you'll remember, where where Damian is believing in what Superman stands for post the killing of the Joker, and Dick's like, no, that's not how things are done. And those two are in conflict to the point where during the Arkham Asylum escape, Damian accidentally kills Dick, and Batman like utterly rejects his biological son at that point. He's like, get away from me, you've killed my son. And Damian's like, what the F, So I feel like they took that structure and they superimposed it on Dick and Jason.
Okay.
So a lot of what Jason's doing and a lot of what's motivating him to do the dirty work of Scarecrow, number one, the bones were already there. The framework was already there. He was already threatened and frustrated with Dick and Dick not believing in him. Two, he had been beaten to death by the Joker, resurrected in the Lazarus pit, and as we know, resurrection of the in the Lazarus pit caused you to go a little insane.
Okay, all
right. And then
now,
three,
that's probably something that I didn't pick up on.
And then the third thing was Crane was feeding him that gas, and that gas.
Drugs is bad.
Drugs is bad. Is that why you put that meme in there? Okay, okay, it's all coming together now. But Scarecrow was feeding him the anti-fear toxin.
Right.
Which was making him susceptible to suggestion.
Okay. All right. So he is obviously being told, take out your old team. He takes out Hank.
And he's basically like, yes, master.
Yeah. And that's what I didn't like. Like it was like he was there enough to where he manipulated Hank to come and see him. He even calls him up and he's like, I need your help, man. And you're like, oh, maybe he is really in trouble, but nope. Right. He is being so manipulative. That's what made him unforgivable, in my opinion. Well, it's like he knew.
That's what's crazy about how this ends. It's like he finally breaks free of Scarecrow's grip, and he's like, I want to make amends. And they're like, okay, well, help us take down Scarecrow. He's like, I will. And everyone's just like, so he blew Hank up. It's fine now. He helped. He helped save the day. Deal. Yeah. What does Dick say to Barbara at the end of the show? It's like, well, how is everyone dealing with Jason? Some people will never forgive him for killing Hank.
Yeah.
Others are like, well, he helped save the day, so it all balances out.
We lose our way every once in a while, commit murder.
That's all. He's such a child.
He's got a lot of growing to do.
We all make dopey mistakes, like first-degree murder.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, I like the other thing I liked about this episode was that they didn't make Conor a complete meathead. They often, just like people often forget, I was on, it's not up yet, it hasn't aired, but if it airs at some point in the future and you're hearing this, then go and find the episode of me on the MCU's Bleeding Edge reviewing Eternals. Bleh. That's not for the movie. That's for having to talk about this movie incessantly. I don't want to ever talk about it.
I want to see another article. Please, someone post it. Get Chris Bailey on the
Can we get another Variety editorial, please, explaining why people hate this movie, critics hate this movie? There's
what
only
time is it? I do not want to get that fired up at this hour right now. Okay.
No, sir.
No.
But the often forgotten about thing about Batman, I now don't remember why I brought this up, because I was asked to come on to review the Eternal, so of course we started off by reviewing the Batman trailer.
Yeah. Somehow they connect. I don't know, but they will at one point.
Yeah, they connect all right. Anyway, so it's his show. That's what he wants to do. I've said before, I'm not into the trailer react culture, but it's a thing, and people do things to get listens. God knows we do. So anyway, so he asked my reaction to the Batman trailer was, and I was like, it's fine. I'll go see it. I'll take my kids to it. We'll see what happens. But the conversation that came out of that, me and this guy known as Lord Deathman, so we're talking about how the thing often forgotten about Batman is that he's not just a punchy ninja guy. He is a detective. He's one of the smartest guys on earth. He's a thinker.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he got to sit in the what was the chair, the Darkseid's chair that gave him all the answers. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Is it for some reason I want to call it the metronome, and that is not it.
No, that's
not the metronome.
That's one of those. And that's okay. I keep wanting to call it the Oedipus chair.
Is it Mobius chair?
Yeah,
right.
I keep wanting to call it the Oedipus chair. That's something else.
They got a whole chair for that, huh?
Yeah, right. Yes, indeedy.
Oh, right.
It's sold in Sweden. Anyway, so the Mobius, that's why he got to sit in the Mobius chair. Batman is a thinker. And the thing often forgotten about Superman is that he's also a genius. He has Kryptonian level genius, which supersedes like the average human intelligence. So the thing that people don't remember about Superman is that he's also like an inventor. Like his Fortress of Solitude is chock full of all of invented scientific crazy advancements based on his Kryptonian intelligence. And it was nice that they didn't just use Conor, because a lot of times I'm watching the show, it's like this would have been resolved if they just let Conor take care of it.
Do not even get me started, man. I mean, there is a point. Just put a pin in that, because there's an episode where I'm going to say, okay, let's revisit this.
Yeah,
because that was said at the end of our season 2 review. If you go back and listen to that, we are really upset about the fact that Donna Troy dies underneath a big Ferris wheel. And what is Conor doing? Well,
chilling.
He's not. He's like, hey, look at that! It will fall down. So this dude,
gravity. What a concept.
He's completely underutilized in some of the craziest situations where you're like, that dude would have been perfect.
Right. He's your tank. Like, get him in there. Mess it. Like so much of this, because it's like a cheaply made show, is like they got to fight a warehouse full of goons. Like that would have been over in seconds in real, if that were really the case.
Right.
So I like the fact they used him to create the thing to stop the bomb from blowing up, is the point that I was trying to get to.
Okay.
I like that they use Conor as an intelligent person, not just a tank that they underutilize. All right. I spent a lot of time on that one, so let's get through episode.
You can feel free to medley at any time there, Mark. I don't want to keep you tonight.
All righty. So Blackfire. In the aftermath of Hank's death, Dawn leaves the Titans, and we're done with that now. Goodbye. Fuck off. Crane is removed from Arkham after Jason. We're not getting monetized for this episode, by the way.
No.
Crane is removed from Arkham after Jason orders his assassination, but Dick abducts him during his transfer to a new prison, which is a felony, and she should have been arrested. But hey, laws are mere hints in Gotham.
Yeah, there's a little bit of wiggle room every once in a while.
Taking Crane to the cabin where he trained Dick where he trained. Dick reveals that he knows Crane manipulated Jason to becoming the Red Hood. Dick, recognizing that Jason will attempt to rescue Crane, lures him to the cabin for a confrontation because everybody in the show is dumb. A fight ensues that ends with Jason and Crane's escape. Meanwhile, Corey's visions lead Gar and her to Blackfire in custody at a government facility run by Dr. Artie Kind. Unable to abandon her sister, Corey frees Blackfire, who accompanies her back to Wayne Manor. I don't have a whole lot about this episode, do you?
No, I mean, one person we haven't really had a chance to talk a whole lot about is the guy that played Scarecrow, Jonathan Crane. I just want to say that I did enjoy his portrayal of the Scarecrow. And granted, he's not, I think we get him in a mask at one point, but it's just a gas mask. That looks kind of scary.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed what we got out of this guy so far up to this.
It's such a weird thing. I can't remember where else I thought about this, but this is something I'd watched in the years previous where it just felt, might have been the X-Men movies, where it's like, we can't put them in their real costumes because they'll look stupid. This show is chock full of that, where it's like, we can't have Scarecrow actually wear the Scarecrow costume. It'll look dumb.
Yeah. I mean, they pulled off Red Hood nice, which that isn't too hard.
I mean, you got Deathstroke.
Right. Yeah. It's just like paint his mask red. All right, we're good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, you can't have Crane. Of course, what draws people into Crane is, his outlook on life and the way he sees things. That's what makes him an interesting character. And granted, the costume would be just probably the cherry on that shake. But regardless, I'm okay.
It just feels like we want Scarecrow in this, but he looks dumb. We won't put him in the costume. Okay, but then is it really Scarecrow? Why couldn't he have been a new character? This is what I mean. Like we want to have this character who who does alchemy and manipulates people, and he uses proxies, and that's going to be a big element of his character's undoing, is that Batman has already figured that about him. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to write a new character. Let's just superimpose that on one people are already familiar with, because we want people to watch this show, and they won't watch if we invent new characters. They'll only watch if characters from the comic book are in there.
Exactly.
So they're like, okay, so Penguin, no. Joker, no. Catwoman, no. Poison Ivy, no. Bane, no. Scarecrow, yeah, that's the one.
Thumbs up. We got him.
I like the actor. I like the portrayal. I did not love that it was Scarecrow.
Okay. That didn't bother me at all, actually. I think that it was fine. It was one of those, it was one of those choices where it was like, okay, I'll take what I can get here. And as long as he is portrayed decently, you can slap any name on him.
Sure.
I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. You shouldn't.
Well, no, he could have been his. It's fine.
You slap any Batman villain name on him. That's not the case. I mean, he definitely, if you're going to pick a Batman villain to go with, it would definitely be Scarecrow.
I mean, in defense of that point, it's not like they made him Victor Zsasz or Killer Croc. Like they took a character that might actually do what he does in the show. Robert Winfrey weighing in here on Twitch says, we want to keep our cake and eat it too. Give us all the rewards without any of the work. The writers. Probably. Very true, Robert. Very true. The other thing I liked about this one is Beast Boy doesn't get a whole lot to do this season, and in this episode is where we start to unravel the mystery of Starfire's visions. And so she goes into a sensory deprivation tank, which causes her to have these hallucinations. She doesn't even know what she's doing, but it ends with Gar in the trunk of the car.
Right. She just keeps waking up after having, blacked out, and she's standing in the middle of some field in front of a car. And
she had punched him out the first time around.
Right. There's a Gar in the car, and you open it up, and there he is, and pull him out. So
get away from me. You crazy bitch.
He already knew she was a little unstable.
A little bit.
Just a little bit, but yeah, it was kind of nice to see him have something to do at least in these episodes. This kind of palling around with her, trying to get some answers.
Yep. Hey, we're an hour into the show here, so what might have helped with the writing, Jesse?
I'm going to guess Grammarly.
Grammarly would have allowed them to write a new character without having to slap new stuff on an old character. But it also is an AI-powered product that helps people communicate more effectively. Grammarly helps you write mistake-free on Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and nearly anywhere else you write on the web. Grammarly corrects hundreds of grammar, punctuation, and spelling mistakes while also catching contextual errors, improving your vocabulary, and suggesting style improvements. To download Grammarly today, go to getgrammarly.com/W2M network. Again, that's getgrammarly.com/W2M network to download Grammarly for free. Write new characters. Don't slap new stuff on old ones. How about that?
Wow, you are standing on that hill. All right, buddy.
Yep, I am prepared to die on this hill. Also, Marvel movies are written by 7-year-olds for 7-year-olds. Fight me.
Ooh. Oh, man.
Shots fired.
Hot take. Hot.
I should work for Variety.
Please don't.
Lazarus, episode 5.
What could this be about?
I don't know. One of the things on the Batman checklist, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like Lazarus. Got to get it in there somewhere. Where are we going to put it? I don't know. How about down by the sewers?
If I had a nickel for every time the Lazarus pit was used in a piece of Batman medium.
Right.
3 months before freeing Crane, Jason has nightmares of an ominous warning from Donna being Wonder Girl. Bruce responds by placing Jason under therapy from Leslie Tompkins, a former colleague of Crane. When Jason learns that Bruce intends to remove him as Robin, he begins helping Crane in exchange for a drug that will eliminate his fear. After Crane manipulates Jason to being killed by the Joker, he has Jason resurrected in the Lazarus pit and creates a toxin to control him as Red Hood. Jason uses his new identity to help his friend Molly Jensen rescue missing orphan children like you do, despite Molly recognizing his personality change. In the present, Crane tells Jason of his plan to take over Gotham by engulfing the city in fear that only they can control. Which, isn't that more of a Joker thing? You know, like I'm thinking like just specifically Batman 89, where the whole third act plot was to release a gas in Gotham. And Jesus Christ, how many times has a Batman villain tried to engulf that city in gas of some kind?
Quite a few.
Seems a bit overused.
I mean, when you hear the word fear and you hear the word gas, you think
me after Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. You're so many jokes.
But also Scarecrow, I suppose.
Scarecrow. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I feel you on that. I do.
All right, let's just move on. Episode 6. Lady, I mean, do you have anything else about this episode?
No, I think I had let's see. My notes were as follows. No, actually, do episode 6, and then I'll make sure to touch on everything I got.
6 years before the present, a romantically involved Dick and Barbara engage in a series of museum heists. The robberies lead to them battling the assassin Lady Vic. Who's actually from the comics. I had no idea who this character was.
Me either.
Where they inadvertently caused the death of her partner. In the present, Crane has Lady Vic steal a medical device that will rapidly distribute his drug. Jason circumvents Crane's authority by giving the drug to street criminals, resulting in a wave of violence. Barbara survives an attack from Lady Vic, but Lady Vic succeeds in obtaining a picture of her for Crane. Despite mounting...
Just real quick, what did she... if you remember this, great. If not, that's fine. Why did he get a picture of her?
Oh, I don't remember.
It's like, can't you go about it a different way of getting a picture of Barbara Gordon instead of like having her about get killed and then like at the very end just say, I'm gonna take a picture of you and then leave? Yeah,
I don't know. Especially in a world filled with cell phones and cameras, security cameras everywhere. I don't know why getting a picture of her, on the cell phone was all that important, but whatever.
I'm sure it was an important plot point that we just completely forgot.
Despite mounting tensions between her and Corey, Blackfire assists the Titans by uncovering that Crane is working with Gotham's mob bosses. The actress playing Blackfire, actually really liking this. She has really good line delivery. She has a hoidiness about her that's purposeful. This is Damaris Lewis. Damaris has been in a couple of different movies. She was in Black Klansman, which I saw, which is really good. See You Yesterday. Which is looks like a Spike Lee movie, and Fatale from last year, which got a bit of buzz on television.
She in any TV? Yeah, yes. Give me some TV.
She was in the show C. She's on an episode of something called C, which is on Apple Plus. She's on Pose. She's in 5 episodes of Pose, which she's got model good looks and a model body.
Yes, she does. She's a very pretty lady.
So I can definitely see her being on a show like Pose. She was on an episode of the Jim Gaffigan Show, and she's on an episode of New Girl.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, she's quite a fine actress, in my opinion. She did a great job playing Blackfire. You felt that there was always that worry that she was going to portray. She was going to portray and betray, portray a betrayal. As a matter of fact, it's crazy. There was always this worry that she was going to betray Corey, and you needed to have somebody to, pull that off, and she did a great job.
She actually used to be a model.
Well, that does not surprise me. She
was in a issue of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue from 2009 to 2011.
Okay. Oh my.
Yeah.
Well, I like Blackfire in this. Again, one of those blank spots in season 2, but Corey actually having faith that maybe she could trust her, but obviously there is a very rocky start. My
favorite part of this entire season is actually her line. She was just like, "Oh, okay, that's your manservant. This one's obviously mine."
Yeah.
I honestly I didn't laugh a lot this season. This is not a particularly funny show. That made me crack up.
Yeah, that's good.
And she delivered that line so well. Like there was no way you could convince her that wasn't the case. And and the woman who plays Starfire, her reaction to it, "Oh God."
Yeah.
It's 2021. You can't say shit like that. And we're on Earth. And no.
It's a little bit different culture down here.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed her as a character in the show.
All
right. Episode 7, 51%. Recognizing that Jason still fears Dick, Crane has him drugged. Dick convinces Barbara to find Crane with the computer Oracle. Check. But Barbara deactivates it when Crane uses her picture to hack into the system. I must have nodded off during all that. I have okay, sure.
Okay, there we go. Hey, we got our answer. All right. I mean, you just needed her picture to get in. Okay, all right.
Yep. Corey and Black. There's a lot of this where I was looking on my phone. Corey and Blackfire visit mob boss Valeska Knox, who I could have sworn, by the way, was the chick from Blondie, Debbie Harry. Okay. I looked it up. That's not her, but she looked just like Debbie Harry to me. Who offers to give up Crane's location if they reunite her with her son Michael. However, when Valeska shoots Michael for being an FBI informant, like you do, Corey retaliates by killing her because heroes kill their enemies a lot.
Right here in the Titans verse.
Nevertheless, Corey and Blackfire help Dick locate Crane's drug plant through interrogating one of Valeska's henchmen. The Titans destroy the facility, forcing Crane to flee with Jason. In the aftermath, Dick and Barbara resume their relationship. Seeking to help Jason, Gar tracks down Molly. Blackfire informs Corey that she killed her parents in self-defense like you do. Anything on that one?
No, I mean, I can't remember if this happens in this episode or not, but Blackfire and Superboy.
It might have started in this episode, but yeah, they get hot and heavy in the next couple.
Oh, well, you're hot and heavy, all right.
Yeah, they certainly do.
That bed ain't handling.
I was already looking for the porn parody. Give me some Blackfire and Superboy action.
Oh boy.
Adult Superboy, to be clear. 21 and over. Version of Superboy.
Are you worried about monetization or just being completely wiped out?
I'm worried about being arrested at this point. We've blown well past monetization and we are currently in Felonyville. So
back the car up quick.
Episode 8, Home. After a sexual encounter.
Whoa.
Have I purred this much during any other review? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. You're up there at least.
I may be
Top
breaking
5.
Robert's still watching. He can tell me. I'm sure.
Yeah, he's got.
Hang on. If you make enough adult content in the show proper, they can't make a parody of the producers.
Probably. Nice. Yep.
I'm sure Robert has a spreadsheet of all the times I've purred in the show and how many times. So we're working on that for me, Robert. Anyway, Connor and Blackfire attempt to help Corey with new visions she begins experiencing. Without drugs, he don't like the drugs, but the drugs like him. To keep him under control, Jason turns against Crane. Tim, having deduced Dick's secret identity, arrives at Wayne Manor in an unsuccessful attempt to become the next Robin. A remorseful Jason contacts Dick to surrender himself and Crane at a condemned pumping station. While Crane secretly overhears their conversation, Tim also follows Jason, but is shot outside the pumping station by Crane. While the rest of the team tends to Tim, rather. Dick and Corey pursue...
I think that was not on purpose.
No, I'm a little drunk. Dick and Corey pursue Jason. I had a lot of wine before the show tonight. My wife's like, "Why are you drinking so much wine?" I'm like, "Because I want to be drunk." Dick and Corey pursue Jason and Crane in the facility. Crane tricks Corey into attacking him with her powers, causing an explosion that allows his toxin to enter Gotham's water system. I know that making your heroes vulnerable and make them make mistakes makes them more human.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. For sure.
I know that having your heroes make mistakes makes them more relatable, makes them more human. It also gives more grist for the mill. They can draw the story out a little bit more because and when the story you're telling is the downfall of the Titans via manipulation of the Scarecrow, so that they can come back and save the day and redeem themselves. I get all that, and that's fine. I think there's a line. And when you cross that line, you've now made your heroes too stupid and unsympathetic. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when Starfire used her powers and then did exactly what the villain wanted her to do, by blowing up the pumping station and causing the fear toxin to drift into the water supply, I was like, I'm with Barbara. Go home.
Could you please?
You people are a menace.
Leave Gotham. We've got
this. There's always that part of the movie where there's like the heroes are a bigger menace than the villain. Go home, and you're like, no, stupid people. They're trying to help. It was all a misunderstanding. No, she's just an idiot.
Yeah. She made a boo boo, and it's going to cost a lot of, I would say, goodwill. For Gotham for the Titans, from Gotham to the Titans. But out of this episode, here's what's funny is that maybe this was like this, I don't know, but I had no idea that was Tim Drake. We'd seen Tim Drake a few times in some episodes leading up to this. I did not know that, and I may have missed the point where they said, "Hey, Tim Drake, come over here," or something like that. But I was really excited. I was glad we were kind of getting Tim Drake. He's not exactly a Robin I know a whole lot about, but to actually
he was very much like I don't remember what year he appears in the comics, but there was the period of comics where computers were new and the internet was kind of new and fascinating. And so beyond like even a cyborg character, like there was always like a hacker character. Mm-hmm. Tim Drake was the hacker Robin.
Okay. All right. Brilliant detective though. He obviously is he's showing off his detective chops here by confronting Dick and saying, "Hey, I know who you are." I'm gonna
stalk women and crawl into their windows and with my camera and everything. Like, "Oh, Master, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, detecting.
I don't think that's not gonna fly.
Not in
Just
court,
saying.
it won't.
Just saying. But yeah, I mean, there's a point in here where I think he's talking about how he recognized somebody by their gait. I don't know if that happens in this episode or the next episode, but I mean, he's a very competent person. Granted, he seems like I don't know. I mean, how old would you say he's being portrayed here? Like as
he looks
17, 18?
Curran Walters.
Right. He definitely does.
He has to be a teenager. I'm going to guess like 15 or 16 based on the way his parents were reacting. When they resurrect Donna Troy and they're hanging out in the bodega or whatever shop that is. And they're like, "You can't go into the street and fight crime. You're a child." Right. Like I got the impression he was a teenager.
Yeah. And to see him get shot at the end of the episode, I was like, oh crap. I mean, this is, they were just going to bring him in and then no way they could do this.
Thanks for coming, Tim.
Wow. See you later.
So he does not have a Wikipedia page.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Unknown actor. Huh?
Unknown actor. Well, you get a lot of them in these TV shows. All right. Episode 9, Souls. Training with the Amazons in Themyscira. I forgot Raven was even in the show.
Dude, let me tell you, I go through TV Time. I know I've mentioned that quite a few times on TV Party Tonight, but I went through TV Time. I was just kind of looking at some of the top comments on most of these episodes. And I'm telling you, every single episode was a picture of Raven saying, bring her back. Bring her back.
Yeah, then
where's
there's
she
me,
at?
And I see her training, and I'm like, that's not Donna Troy. They
wait
killed
a
her in the
second.
previous season. Like, I don't know who that is. Why does she have a jewel in her forehead? And then at one point they refer to her as Rachel, and I'm like, oh, that's Raven. That's right. That's right. She went to go live on Wonder Woman Island.
That's
okay,
right.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't know what the heck was going on at first. When I thought, well, we're just at Themyscira, and I was like, what are we doing here again? Because again, season 2, I forgot everything. I forgot. I think it may have been said that Donna had died, but anyway. So go ahead, continue with the synopsis.
All right, so back on Amazon Island, Rachel's efforts to resurrect Donna prove unsuccessful. Tim awakens in the afterlife. He encounters Donna and Hank, banding together against demonic ghouls that steal dead souls. This is written by a child. Hank leads the group to a bridge, rumored to
and we are bringing it to the masses.
Hank is forced to stay behind during a battle with the ghouls, and the bridge collapses. But Donna and Tim successfully cross the bridge to escape the afterlife. As the departing Rachel discovers Donna's body gone, Donna saves Bruce from a suicide attempt. Hank reunites with Dawn, prompting them to team up in protecting other souls from the ghouls. Yeah, I'm not loving the Batman is suicidal angle.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, they threw that all out the window when he caved in the Joker skull. So it's just like you've got to have some kind of a. And what's messed up is like, is there redemption for Batman? And the suicide angle of it is like he realizes there is no redemption for Batman. There is no redemption for Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne. He has killed somebody, so he's at his lowest point, man. And I don't know. It seemed like it wasn't too far off of a natural step for me to expect this guy to potentially kill himself because he can't live with what he's done. He's become the thing that he does not want to be.
Of all the episodes, I thought this one was the most artfully directed. The black and white, the ghouls and everything. Plot line, it was a little Deus Ex Machina for me. It was a little stupid. Again, like sometimes death has real stakes in these shows, and sometimes it's it's barely it's barely an inconvenience.
Well, okay, so. Fast forward a little bit as we get to the end of the season. Why don't you go ahead and tell me how many of our members of the Teen Titans have not died? Because I mean, I think you're going to scratch Dick off of there. You're going to scratch Tim off of there. He's obviously, I assume he's dead, unless this is going to be
Starfire died momentarily.
Donna died. Rachel, I don't know if she was dead at some point, but I
don't think she died. She became a demon at one point.
Tim Drake ain't even a Titan yet,
right?
And he's dead. But
he got his in early.
But anyway, yeah, you're right. Death is. I like this episode though. This is probably this is top 3 for me out of the season. I really did enjoy, and I think a lot of that has to do with that we get Hank back at it, and he's like the guy that is he shows up playing Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi in that car to rescue them. And I was like, yes, it's freaking Hank. But yeah, I really did enjoy this episode. So yeah, I did put in here that Bruce trying to kill himself. We kind of covered that. Donna shows up at his house.
Yeah.
Why did she
to give her something to do? I also think people were pissed they killed her and the way they killed her. Because again, isn't Donna Troy mostly invulnerable?
Yeah, me and you definitely talked about that on the previous episode, covering season 2. We actually went to the DC fandom and was so pissed we started going down her powers, and she got electrocuted in season 2, and we were like, okay. And if you notice, she mentions her death and how ridiculous it was. She's like, I got killed at a carnival, if I remember right. I think that's what she says. But yeah, and then of course she gets I think, tased at one point when she comes back, and she's kind of like, she looks up, she's like, okay, I've kind of felt this already, but nothing phases. Electricity's not her, not her weakness there at some point. But anyway, yeah, it was bad where they took it. But yeah, she just shows up at Bruce's manor in England or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know where she got that information from, but apparently
because all the pretty girls must save the ugly boys. That's why.
Bruce Wayne is not dead.
All right. Episode 10, Troubled Water. Crane manipulates Gotham citizens against the Titans through a video that frames Dick and his team. By the way, so I'm watching this and I'm like, yes, we're living in a post-Trump world.
Fake news, brother.
You can't get away from any of this stuff in movies and television anymore. It's Hollywood watched a guy use the media to manipulate people who were already prone to accepting, the medicine he was given. And they're never going to forgive. They're never going to forget. It's going to be in everything you watch and everything you listen to. We're tired of it. Wait, that's a whole other podcast. Anyway, Trump manipulates the citizens of the United States.
Trump's been in Arkham all along. You guys had no idea.
Against the Democrats through a video that frames Barack Obama and his team for the toxic outbreak. That's a more plausible plot line. While also presenting Red Hood as the city's new hero. To help the police maintain the trust of the public, Dick has the team turn themselves in, which goes so wrong.
Yeah.
However, they are attacked at the station by corrupt officers under the command of Fletcher, who received a bribe from Jason. Hang on. I got distracted by something and lost my place. The team escapes, but Barbara is arrested for shooting Fletcher to save Dick. When the Titans separated and forced into hiding, Crane and Jason take residence in Wayne Manor. Attempting to heal her sister's injuries from the attack, Corey has her powers absorbed by Blackfire like you do. Gar reunites with a newly arrived Rachel, who's like, hi, I'm in the show too. Donna also arrives in Gotham after the Amazon test her leadership, and the writers say, we're sorry for taking your favorite characters out of the show. They're all back. Yes. We're sorry.
Apologies.
We will never kill another character and take them out, except for Hank. Hank will be dead forever.
My favorite guy, too. Damn it. We're very tired of it. That's right.
We're tired of it. See, Robert Winfrey is hanging out with us on Twitch tonight, and he's got some quips, and we are putting these quips on the screen. So if you're hearing this after the fact and you're like, what were they giggling at and chortling and whatnot? It's our friends here in the chat while we're live streaming, interacting with us. And you could be one of those people if you catch our next live stream. So anyway. So your thoughts on this episode, sir?
Oh, I don't like the fact that Jonathan Crane shaved. All right, that's my first note.
You liked him. You liked him as more neck beardy.
Yes, leave him a little disheveled. Okay. I didn't like that, but it's whatever. The finger poke of doom. So Connor Kent is
that was so funny. Yeah, he suddenly remembers he's the strongest person on the planet and is like, doink.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So, I mean, look, they went to go and turn themselves in, and yes, it turned out very, very badly for the team. I like I think one of the big takeaways from this was where Barbara had to shoot one of her own police officers, corrupt police officer, nonetheless.
Right. And then gets her badge taken temporarily because we have to manufacture that drama.
Right. Yeah. So she gets tossed in the.
Let me clue Hollywood in. Cops can shoot people. It's fine. If you have a rogue cop instructing other rogue cops to shoot unarmed people,
right?
Even superhero people, you can shoot them back. It's fine. This is not a George Floyd situation. I promise. But again, politics.
Right. You throw her in the pokey. She's got to go.
Yep.
So yeah. I mean, that's about really all I took away from this. I didn't like Jonathan Crane shaving his face. The Scarecrow is now a clean-shaven, good-looking dude. And those are two big things I took away from this. Finger poke of doom. Don't shave your face.
Okay. I'm sure that's exactly what the writers wanted you to take away from this. Here's a little the name of this episode is called "The Call Is Coming from Inside the House." Ooh. This actually debuted October 7th. So in the month of Halloween, where all things scream and are horrifying, pumpkins and trick-or-treating.
Yes.
Anyway, did a stream of consciousness there.
Yes, I saw that.
Dick accepts a challenge to face Jason in public because, of course, he does.
Oh.
By the way, if I had a nickel for every time somebody in a drama like this said, "No, I'm going alone into a trap," you know it's a trap, right? Yes, and I'm gonna walk right into it because that's what heroes do. No, that's what dumbasses do. But
hey, but don't take the guy that can knock people out with a finger. Okay,
right.
Don't take him. So, as a matter of fact, make sure to grab some kryptonite powder and knock him out, and make sure you hit the dog too.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like Jason's making me go into a trap. Okay, but if you bring Conor with you, he can grab Jason before Jason does anything because he has super speed. What the F?
Yeah. Why are we making this difficult for ourselves?
It's manufactured drama, which should be the name of the show. Titans Manufactured Drama, because Dick is struggling with his identity, and Batman always did it alone, so he has to do it alone. Batman walked into the trap, so he has to walk in the trap. Except Dick's bad at it, and this never works out the way Dick wants it to.
Yeah, we lobbed that criticism at Dick last season. Seriously, when I listened to the episode, we are throwing that out. I'm like, why are you doing this? So he did it last season as well.
Right. And learned nothing.
Yeah. What I think maybe what they're trying to do here with this final straw of him getting shot, and as he's going and taking, you ain't even got to that part yet, but he is, it's going to take him dying to understand that, maybe I should rely on my teammates to help me out every once in a while. But go ahead and continue.
All right. So the confrontation sees Dick emerge victorious, but a crowd of bystanders attack him. Jason retreats to Wayne Manor. Hang on. I got to talk about that sentence because this doesn't do it justice. The confrontation sees Dick emerge victorious, but a crowd of bystanders attack him. So to the crowd who already don't trust the Titans, they think Dick just beat the shit out of this small child who's wearing body armor and a helmet. And he does, man. He body slams him, and poor Jason's out of breath. He's really messed up. And they're like, "Stop beating on that poor child," and Dick's like, "Okay." So
yeah,
so he goes to get. So one of the guys pulls a gun on him, and Dick's like, "Hey, now, let's all be cool, man." And he walks over there, and the guy's like, "Okay, I don't want no problems. I just don't beat up the baby anymore." And then Dick's like, "Right." And then instead of disarming him, they're taking the gun away. Dick's like, "I trust you, stranger, who had a gun on me not but 3 seconds ago. I'm going to turn around and walk away." And by the way, now Jason's like, "Come on, motherfucker!" He's like the Black Knight from Monty Python. He's like, "Oh, I'm not dead yet. I want to go for a walk." I'm sorry, a different character, but it's just like, it's like I've chopped your leg off. Oh, it's but a scratch.
Yeah, but it is but a scratch.
He's doing that bit, and so Dick's like, "All right, let me go deal with this idiot now." And as he's walking away from the armed person who has a gun pointed at him, he don't think about it. He's just like, "No, Jason, I've already beaten you once. Let's not get a boom shot in the neck." Like he's like the guy shoots him in the back once or twice, and the bullets bounce off because he's wearing magic body armor. But then he gets him in the neck finally, and down goes Dick, and they can't get to him in time, and he dies.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, mind you,
it's stupid to not disarm the guy that had the gun on you. Why are you a superhero? I'm just saying.
Okay, I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah, 'tis but a flesh wound right there. He is laying on the ground bleeding, and as Jason walks away, if I remember right, I think Jason kind of feels a little bit of remorse for what's happening, but Dick then, as he's laying on the ground, the crowd surrounds him and just starts kicking the living crap out of him. So it's not like it's like insult to injury. He is getting beat up by the people.
I believe they actually started yelling out "Thanks, Obama." Yeah,
it's crazy.
No, I'm sorry. They were saying Red Hood. sounded the
Oh,
same.
Red Hood. Yeah, and they killed one of the Titans. The one that their leader, Nightwing, is dead.
Because he poisoned the water supply, don't you know?
Right. Connor Kent could have been at least, you didn't even have to involve him. Just, hey, stay up here and watch on the rooftop.
Okay? I was gonna say, like, don't get involved between me and Jason. But hey, if a mob shows up after they've killed Michael Myers, if they go looking for more blood and vengeance, if they show up here, maybe protect me from the angry mob.
Please.
Rah, or an angry mob.
Please.
Danger.
Oh man,
you deserve it. Anyway, moving on. So Jason retreats to Wayne Manor, where he discovers Crane has turned violent from a psychotic break. Instigated by information that Gar uncovered, Rachel finds the Lazarus Pit before her powers alert her of Dick being in danger. Danger. A reunited Donna and Tim learn that Crane is plotting to have corrupt officers assault Tim's city block because cops are bad, prompting Donna to lead the residents in fighting back. After being shot, Corey experiences a vision that reveals her parents had Blackfire's powers transferred into her. Corey emerges from the vision with a new ability to generate blue light because God forbid she not have superpowers.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
So anyway, that was really all I had to say about this episode. What did you think?
I mean, I think our biggest takeaway from here, this episode specifically, is that Dick is an idiot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's really all we can say. There's
it's hard to get invested in the show when the characters are this stupid.
Right. And there was a lot of anger at the fact that he kryptonited Crypto.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, you want to beat a child in the street? People will applaud you. People are like, yes, kick more children. Touch a dog.
Don't do it.
You, other than President Trump, you're the most hated person on the planet.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
He is his own worst enemy. I mean, that is really what this boils down to. Dick cannot get out of the way of himself sometimes.
No. Nope. He got shot in the neck for it. He didn't protect his neck, Jesse.
He didn't protect your neck.
Hey, Jesse, who am I referencing when I say protect your neck?
Could that possibly be the Wu-Tang Clan? Robert Winfrey.
Yes, it is the Wu-Tang Clan. And do you know where you can listen to the Wu-Tang Clan and their song "Protect Your Neck"?
No, I have a guess, but I would love for you to tell me just to make sure I'm right.
Amazon Music, don't you know?
Really? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And if you would like to be like us and listen to all of Wu-Tang Clan's classic albums, you can find them on Amazon Music, and you can actually stream them for free if you take advantage of the offer that we're providing you in the description of this podcast. The link is getamazonmusic.com/W2M network. Again, it's getamazonmusic.com/W2M network for a free 30-day trial of the Amazon Music Unlimited service.
Winfrey has left the chat to immediately go find some Wu-Tang albums.
Because he understands that Wu-Tang is for the children.
For the children. That's right.
And if you would like some Wu-Tang for your children, get amazonmusic.com/W2M network. Moving on.
Bonus, yes.
Prodigal. A dying Dick is brought to the Lazarus Pit by Gar after he takes the form of a bat.
Wait. He got baptized in the Lazarus Pit. Continue.
No, hang on. Do that line again.
He got baptized in the Lazarus Pit. Beautiful.
Aren't we glad I got a soundboard back?
I'm so glad.
Dick emerges from the pit fully healed, inspired by visions of his father and future daughter, learning that Crane, I guess the inference there is that him and Starfire are going to hook up, yeah?
Yeah, that's the way a lot of people took that, is that they'll end up together.
Learning that Crane plans on killing the city's entire population, Jason teams up with Dick, but they are unable to prevent Crane from obtaining explosives containing his toxin. Donna leads Tim and his family out of Gotham, despite Tim's insistence on helping protect the city and his neck. After escaping her holding cell, Barbara attempts to reactivate Oracle. Blackfire arrives at Kyne's facility with Connor, where she discovers her ship is being held when Corey informs her of their parents' actions, Blackfire decides to return to Tamarin, but Conor's romantic feelings for her cause him to destroy the ship.
What?
Like the reaction to that, though, I thought was hilarious. She's just like she totally had like the enabling girlfriend thing going on, where she's like no, I forgive him from blowing up my ship and nearly killing us all and preventing me from going home to reclaim my birthright. He's in love. We fight for love, Jesse. We fight for love. Sure. We fight for love. Don't you understand?
So the whole Conor blowing up the ship thing.
Yeah.
The only rational explanation that I've seen is that is supposedly the half of his DNA, the Lex Luthor side of him, supposedly coming out, like he was acting on his selfish needs. I know. I mean, Blackfire she's a hot commodity. I definitely
say, like, why can't he just want to keep,
why can't he just blow up a ship? Why can't he just blow up a spaceship and possibly?
You're trying to tell me that men don't do crazy things for women that they're banging? That's a lie. I see it all the time. People do,
Was this the episode where Conor and her, or maybe it was previous, but he was like, "Fuck the Titans."
Yeah.
And so I don't know how many groups / people were getting fucked in this series, but quite a few times we got fuck the Batman, fuck the Titans. But anyway,
yeah, there wasn't like the big headline of season 1 where it was in the trailer where it's just like dun, 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 fuck Batman. Like, wait, what?
Fuck Batman.
You heard it first. I don't know why I'm doing the MTV theme, but anyway, it was one of those things where there's so many other dumb things in this show. Him blowing up the ship because he doesn't want his girlfriend to leave him, and he can't follow her because he can't breathe on Tamarin is now the least stupidest thing I've seen in this show. We got a request here from the Peanut Gallery. He wants me now to sing that to the tune of the Batman thing. Na 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 fuck Batman.
Beautiful.
Anything for a gag. Anyway, that's what you said. Anyway,
the title of his sex tape.
Anything else about Prodigal?
I thought the dream sequence was kind of strange. There have been quite a few dream sequences, or whatever you want to call them, inside of Dick's head. It's just strange. Like, I'm trying to work past that. That he becomes the Joker in there, which I guess what they're trying to do is just kind of show you what his internal feelings are. His internal,
just like you're as threatened by Jason as Jason is threatened by you, and I'm like, I never got that sense.
No.
Like,
no way.
Dick left Batman because he got tired of being a sidekick, went on to form his own life because he rejected the whole superhero thing and was sort of dragged back into it when Rachel came looking for help.
Right. And at no point,
nothing to do with Jason.
I was going to say the relationship with between Dick and Jason was more like, Dick looking at him like, geez, kid, get your act straight.
Right.
And not at no point did I see him going, oh man, I wish I could be like Jason. I want to be a son just like he is.
I was going to say, he doesn't long for Batman's approval.
No.
Like, that's never been established. And that's the implication in that, like Jason supplanted him, and like he's never felt that way. He didn't want to come to Gotham. He didn't even want to be a superhero again. He got dragged into it against his will, and then he found, when the Titans all kind of got together, he was like, well, I guess I've always been good at this, so I'll continue to do it. These people need some leadership. We are a found family. That was the whole point of season 1 and 2. Was Dick evolving into Nightwing out of his rejection of capes to start with, which is fine. But then you can't then go ahead and say, oh, but he also feels threatened by Jason. Like, no. He did not feel threatened by Jason. So him morphing into the Joker and beating him with the crowbar, well, as sort of a, you took my spot, so I'm taking it back kind of a thing. I'm like, that made no sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. That was my note. It was just like that whole sequence was kind of weird.
Your notes that you did with Grammarly?
As a matter of fact, it's working right now. It's
good.
It's saying baptized is not a word.
Nice. All right, last episode here, and then we'll call it a night. Argus, Did you like Argus in the DC movies? Have you liked them in the Arrowverse? Well, here they are again.
Argus.
We can't get away from this either. Argus, agents led by V. Which, by the way, when they did her reveal, did you not think that was going to be what's her face? God, what's her name in the one the
Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. My goodness, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but
I totally thought that was going to be her.
Yeah, which by the way, I've seen that actress she was in the never mind. You do me a favor. Is she on? You got her IMDb pulled up?
I'm looking for her. I'm looking for her in the character list here in the wiki.
Anyway, oh man, I wish I could remember the name because we watched the whole thing. It's where the people get the hotel on Netflix. It's got oh man, this is perfect right. Podcast.
Her name is Karen Robinson. Let's start there.
Thank you. Give me she's in the Netflix series about the hotel.
Okay. So let me help you. Jesus Christ.
I want you to look it up, not me.
All right. So her film appearances are Against the Ropes, Love, Sex and Eating the Bones. Name of your title of your sex tape.
Not in that order, please.
Who Killed Atlantis Children, Owning Mahoney, Short Hymn, Silent War, Lars and the Real Girl, and Final Jeopardy. She's also been on The Line, King, Shoot the Messenger.
Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, Schitt's Creek. I was getting there.
There. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
The Gospel According to the Blues, A Million Little Things, Pretty Hard Cases, and Tiny Pretty Things. Anyway,
is that one movie or two?
That was two. But I'm sensing a theme.
Well, hey, I just want to point out that it was different to see her in this role compared to what I was used to seeing her in Schitt's Creek. Amanda Waller, thank you very much, Winfrey. Yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me if they would have said that in this series had Amanda Waller show up. But
yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
For every time they've used Amanda Waller in one of these things. Anyway, but it's the Amanda Waller stand-in called V. And she rescues Barbara. Joined by Tim, the Titans reunite. Dun dun dun. After detonating one explosive, Crane threatens to set off the other bombs if the heroes are unable to solve his clues. Dickinson directly attacks Wayne Manor because screw being a detective, with Guard, Jason, and Tim, who help deactivate the explosives and capture Crane. The remaining Titans turn the Lazarus Pit into rainfall.
Oh, wait. wait just a second. This was the craziest. I mean, I thought it was neat. I thought it was a neat way to kind of resolve things. Like, hey, everybody's dead. All right, how about we just bring him back to life? Okay,
right.
How are we going to do that? Well, let's make it rain Lazarus Pit.
The Lazarus Pit, every time it's been used, whether it was used in the Arrowverse or anything else, it's always had the effect of turning somebody crazy. But I guess they diluted it, or there was some cockamamie explanation for why this was going to work, and it wasn't going to turn dead people into dead crazy people.
I want to also point out, since Winfrey's listening, if you force air fast enough, does it get colder? Because I now have problems with Superboy. No, you stop looking at your hands. You listen to me right now, Mark Radulich. You listen. If you blow fast enough, does it get colder? Because super freezy breath is not a thing. Just saying. Thank you. Yeah, because there's more friction, I imagine. I'm just making that up.
You might want to read out loud what he said.
Oh, not Winfrey chimes in and says, no, it would get hotter. That's what so yeah.
Despite physics, here's what they do. Raven uses her magic to suck the Lazarus Pit into herself, and then she ejects it into a ball created by Blackfire and Starfire of heat and electricity, and then they launch it into the atmosphere, and then Superboy blows cold air into it, which then makes it rain Lazarus Pit water.
Brilliant.
And yes, moving air does create friction. So anyway, that's
oh,
the
you know what?
resolution
You can't forget about the lightning that's happening either. Oh my goodness. Well, how are we going to worry about the lightning? Oh, well, we've got to throw a golden lasso up there to ground it.
Right. And that was the other thing. Is like they couldn't figure out, despite the cold air and the giant ball of Lazarus pit floating in the atmosphere, they couldn't figure out how to make it rain.
But Gotham won't be here anymore. It's going to be burnt down by lightning.
But there's lightning happening, and so they need a conduit for the lightning. Is what they figured out. Which is hilarious because it's like they almost trying to make up for season 2, where Donna Troy got electrocuted, despite being immortal.
I forgot all about that. Yeah, they're like, okay, well, how about you just get struck by lightning?
Right.
All right.
And then, well, I don't know how you forgot this. They said it in the show. They're like, no, you'll get killed. They're like, I've already been electrocuted once. Meh. And so she throws her magic extending lasso into the atmosphere. It then conducts lightning.
Like, dude, I don't know how long this lasso is, but
apparently it stretches.
It's a mile-long lasso going straight up into the atmosphere. It has
the same properties as a magic bag of holding. It is as long as the plot needs it to be.
There it goes.
Yeah, it's like a cartoon tongue. So she throws the stupid lasso into the atmosphere. It conducts the lightning. The lightning produces the rain. The rain falls over the citizens of Gotham, and they all wake up wet but okay. And then
everything's just fine.
And then Ray shows up with force healing. And then the dam breaks. And then the cavalry arrived, but they were too late.
Right.
Anyway. So look. So that's the end of season 3.
Hey, they go on a road trip, man. They're going on a road trip. Oh yeah, that's
right. They all go back to. Does Blackfire go back to Tamarin?
There's I know she stays in Gotham at the very least. I think that's her plan.
They allude to the fact they can rebuild her spaceship.
Right.
Like they're gonna 3D print a spaceship and she'll be fine. So she's staying in Gotham to work on that.
I can 3D print the little pieces.
Tim ends up going with them and everyone's going back to San Francisco. And this has been renewed for a 4th season, from what I understand. So we'll be back here again, despite this nonsense.
It's going to be, they will go state to state. There'll be 13 episodes of them fighting crime in different states.
I hope. But yeah, so they take the RV back. They leave Gotham and they take the RV back to San Francisco. Thank God. I don't know of any like good other than the Judas contract, which they've kind of already done. I don't know of any other like seminal Teen Titans stories they can draw from, or God only knows. Maybe the next season it'll be Teen Titans versus the Justice League because people seem to like that.
Ooh, wow! Look out.
Maybe they haven't used Kid Flash yet. They killed Aquaman last season.
Aqualad, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know where they can go from here. Titans is kind of a blank spot for me. Yeah, nice. The writers of this show couldn't even name 13 states without Google. Correct, sir. That is correct, Winfrey. It's the stories have been kind of a blank spot where other than what we've covered on the show, other than what we've covered on source material, I haven't really got into
what we've covered on the show. They've done. They did the whole thing with Trigon. They've done Deathstroke and kind of the Judas contract. Now they've done all this Batman stuff. I don't know what else is out there. I would say something. I have to imagine something with Kid Flash.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't know. Maybe if they'll try to adapt the thing where Speedy was on heroin for a while. That would be that'd be fun. I think
drugs is bad, Mark. We already did that.
Drugs is bad. Well, I mean, there's all kinds of drugs out there. You can't just have one drug story. Whatever it is. My assessment of this season is I wish it had been 10 episodes and not 13. It was way too long. I think for this level of television writing, look, it's not great. The show, like I said, ranks about a 5 or a 6 for me. And I don't know. I don't know if I'd keep watching it if we weren't talking about it.
I understand.
I think I tolerate it because it gets me and you to hang out and talk and make fun and all of that. As far as like my actual am I drawn into the show? Is it amuse me? Yeah, it's one of those where it's like it's very passively entertaining to me. Like I'll have it on and I'll kind of look up and down with my phone. It's not the kind of show that has 100% captured my attention, and I feel like I need to pay close attention to what's happening. It is the typical Greg Berlanti soapy evening melodrama, and that doesn't require a lot of attention. I'll give you a final word here.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. This is, I don't recall like watching the episodes. I started watching them with my wife about halfway through. I pulled her in and said, "You want to watch this with me? Because I've got to watch it." And I mean,
good job.
She was enjoying it too, and I had to get it in when our TV watching kind of overlapped. And so she enjoyed what we was watching, but again, it's not where I was like, I've got to see what happens in the next episode. What are they going to do next episode? That wasn't something that really had me hooked. So, you know, I don't honestly know what they're going to do for season 4. I have no inclination as to what they can do to set this apart. The only thing I can think of is they're going to be getting a little bit more fantastical instead of as grounded as they are. But that just doesn't seem like the Titans that we know, because this show is very gritty, very ground level, very street level. You're as crazy as some of these villains are. I mean, really, the problems that we're running into are real world problems, drugs, you know, somebody betraying you. I could see that, you know, what you think would be cool is them going out into space, maybe going to Tamaran or doing something crazy like that, but that's not going to happen. I mean, they just don't probably have the budget for doing anything like that. And most likely there's not much you could do in space. But
all right. So that's our review of Titan season 3. In short order, Jesse will be back next week. We'll be doing Wu-Tang and American Saga season 2. I think that's all you're on for that. You and Robert Winfrey and Alexis Hannah will be doing What If on Friday night after he's done with SmackDown.
That's right.
And then I know there's one more thing that we're doing. I feel like there was another TV show. Maybe not.
Are you talking about, hold on a second. It was What If? It was, yeah. You don't see anything on the calendar?
Yeah. Well, somewhere in here has got to be Doom Patrol.
I was going to say, yeah, that's the other one. Doom
Patrol, December 8th. So yeah, Wu-Tang and American Saga season 2, Doom Patrol, What If, and then, you know, the usual. Eventually, we'll get back to doing Metal Hammer of Doom again. So, in the meantime, tomorrow we're reviewing the Eternals, and then I can stop talking about this fucking movie because I've talked about it way too much.
Hey, is Lock and Key on the schedule?
It is. It's a week from tomorrow.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Okay.
Are you on that?
I've got it listed here. I'm watching it, so maybe I will be. Maybe I won't. I don't know.
I'm going to put your name down.
Oh, no, don't pencil me in. No.
No, you're committed.
He's typing it in as we go. Oh, no.
Teach you to talk to me while we're podcasting. Anyway,
I'm not watching it. Netflix has been canceled.
Along with Dave Chappelle. Anyway, our Veterans Day show this year is Band of Brothers. That'll be me and Andrew Graham. Thursday, I am reviewing Heels with Ronnie Adams. I'm also reviewing Chippendale Park Life with Alexis Hannah. And then on Friday, in addition to the What If show that's happening late, I will be re-airing Sort the Mail, Jesse Starcher.
Oh, that's exciting.
Sort the Mail. It'll be
like,
hard.
Why is he having a very bad bout of
Tourette's
autism right now? Yeah, Tourette's and all that.
We reviewed the Rocky IV soundtrack a few years ago, along with doing the Rocky IV movie as an on trial. And as of November 12th, the Rocky IV director's cut will be released on PVOD. There's also the night before, I'm actually taking my kids to it, a Fathom event with a Q&A for the Rocky IV director's cut. So we're going to re-air our Rocky IV shows from a few years ago on W2M. And then this Saturday is Dave Wright's final Star Trek retrospective that he did. It's me, him, and Robert arguing about the Beastie Boys. And then we might have also mentioned the Kelvin Timeline movies. You can check out our reviews of Last Night in Soho. Jesse talked Neil Gaiman's Eternals with Robert Cooper. Robert and I reviewed Paranormal Activity, and then and Sean Comer revisited the first 4 Paranormal Activities, and then got us momentarily thrown off of YouTube. So
weren't expecting that, were you?
The bots are fun. Myself and Pat Mullen reviewed Dark Side of the Ring Season 3B. We reviewed Ministry Moral Hygiene. We re-released a whole bunch of Canelo fights leading up to our live stream of Canelo versus Plant, which for those of you who tuned into that, thank you. We want to do more of those in the future, so we appreciate you tuning in for it. Robert Winfrey and I, who's been hanging out with us all night, we celebrated the cinema. Don't you understand? The cinema, Jesse.
I hear tears were shed, correct?
We put on fancy dress. We supped from the nectar of the gods.
No,
or I did at least. And I had my kids bring me booze. It was great. And then I wondered why we got demonetized.
Yes.
And in all seriousness, we did a triple feature for the Oscar-winning movies. Best Picture award winner, Nomadland. We talked about Mank, that was on Netflix, and then we ended with The Father, which Anthony Hopkins won best male lead, which then caused Twitter to have a meltdown because it wasn't the deceased Chadwick Boseman. So we talked about the state of movies right now, and then we dovetailed into a discussion of those 3 movies. That was fun. And then finally, like I said, we had re-airs of our Pride and Prejudice and Zombies review and the Chronicles of Riddick trilogy, and then we did the Canelo versus Caleb Plant live stream for all the super middleweight titles, all the marbles, Jesse, all the marbles,
all
the marbles. Stay tuned for our November 19th boxing coverage. Jesse, Robert Winfrey will be covering his favorite fighter in the history of boxing, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade versus Jason Quigley. That's a lie.
All right.
None of that's true. And I do that just to tweak his nipples. Speaking of tweaking nipples, what are you doing these days?
Tweaking nipples, as a matter of fact. How did you know, Mark Radulich? I can't believe it. I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but I can tell you next Monday, it's Ghostbusters Displaced Aggression showing up on source material. Listen, Ghostbusters, time travel, relatives of some of the bad guys from the first Ghostbusters. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. The Ghostbusters are displaced across time, and we got to get them back. Ronnie Adams and I sat down and talked about that comic book. So if you want to check that out, watch for that to drop there next Monday. I know that actually this week we are getting in the can. Al Sedano and myself are going to sit down, and we're going to be talking about a comic book that I cannot remember off the top of my head.
Stars and Stripe Volume 2.
I knew it was there somewhere in the schedule. Stars and Stripe Volume 2. And I've got the notes. I'm ready to rock and roll on it. Listen, Geoff Johns this I think is his first project, if I remember correctly, as he shows up in DC in the late 99, early 2000s. And I haven't watched the series yet, but from what I understand, it draws heavily upon that. So check that out. Al Sedano and myself are going to knock that out. It'll be showing up here at some point. I think it was in December, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Maybe it's in November.
You're right.
But all right. So other than that, I think that's about it. Obviously, I look forward to talking about What If. So I know you've already plugged that already, but one of my favorite comics, as I've said many a time on my own show. So talking about the TV series What If for Disney Plus is going to be fun. So look forward to that.
All right, folks. If you were able to catch a part of the live stream, or you're hearing this back on regular audio, you're watching it on YouTube at a later date, we thank you for doing that. Please remember to like and subscribe anywhere where you enjoy listening to these sort of things. We really appreciate it. Click those links, support the podcast. And for Jesse Starcher, for Robert Winfrey and the Peanut Gallery, I'm Mark Radulich. Be well, be safe, and behave.